We are now in section 6. We're talking about how to publish your game. So now you've done all this work, you've created a game, you've tested it, you've put in all the effects and gameplay mechanics that you want. Now you want to build it and actually upload it to the store. So for that, you're going to need to create an APK on Android, and on iOS, you need an IPA file. So let's talk about Android first. This video is called Building for Android. Okay, so first things you need to do, you need to set up the SDK and the JDK for Android. Android requires these to build. So Unity is going to call into these things that are developed by Google, and the SDKs are going to output all the necessary files that you need. So ensure that you have the correct Android SDK installed for your version of Unity. That'll depend. Basically, as they release new versions, Unity keeps up, but you have to update Unity usually. Also make sure that you're using the correct version of the Java development kit, the JDK, for your version of Unity. Also that it matches with the version of Android SDK. And then set those paths in Unity. Optionally, and you would know if you were doing this, but I just threw this in here, is that you need to use the Android NDK if you're doing native development, native plugins, and that kind of thing. So let's jump over to Unity for a moment and go through what these things are. So here I'm actually set to iPhone at the moment, but on Android, what we need to do is go to Edit, Preferences, and then there's a tab here in Unity Preferences called External Tools. We want to select that, and we'll see a few things up here regarding, our editor for our code and whatnot. But as we move down here, we'll see a couple of fields that are the ones we were referencing just a minute ago. So you have the Android SDK path. So we set the SDK path here. In my case, it's set in the users, array, app data, etc., etc. The JDK will generally install to program files on Windows. On Mac, you're going to have to look it up under your library directory, I believe. And then the NDK, which I have in my downloads folder. So these download links will take you straight to the download page. I've already opened up the page. The most simple way to get it is by installing the Android Studio tools. And so let me show you that. So what we have here is an Android Studio page, developer.android.com/studio, and you'll download the Android Studio tools. So this is an IDE essentially, but it also comes with additional tools like the SDK and like the virtual device manager, which lets you emulate devices and whatnot. But this is the most simple way to do it and manage your SDK. So I would download this and then go through the install steps to get the SDK. And then remember where it gets installed. It will depend on your platform and sort of how you install it, but you can always move that location. And then when you're back in Unity, just set that path here through using browse or just typing in the path. Okay, so that's how you set up your SDK and whatnot. So once that's done, you're going to be able to create an APK. So let me talk a little bit about what an APK actually is. Because unlike, say, an executable, it actually contains some additional stuff inside of it. So it's more, think of it like a zip file. Kind of like the AAR files we were seeing in the previous section, it contains a few things. So you can actually unzip an APK and look inside, and you'll find some binary files and your executable code, essentially, an Android manifest file, which contains information about your app, some resources, and some additional files that are in there. So really the APK is kind of the container for all of this stuff. You can't just take these portions out and deliver them to Google. You just deliver the entire APK, which is already signed, and then they handle the rest from there. So signing your APK. Now, so signing is basically a security measure. It's going to prevent any unauthorized person from uploading an APK with the same bundle ID as yours. That's because you need to sign it. So Google's not going to take, after you've uploaded once, it's not going to accept another one that's not signed the same way. Likewise, it's going to prevent any unauthorized person from uploading an APK on your behalf. So if you have somebody who has access to your code somehow and they want to build it, because they cannot sign it because you haven't provided them with the signing credentials, they will not be able to upload a version to the store without your permission or without you providing the signing credentials for that APK. So let's talk about how you do signing. So we jump over to Unity again, and one of the things that you'll notice is that if we go to the build settings, so we'll go to Edit, Project Settings, and I think it is Player Settings. For the Android tab here, you'll notice at the very bottom, there's something called Publishing Settings. And these publishing settings by default use this existing key store here with a password. Now, if you want to create a new one, just simply select this here, provided a password. Remember, you got to write down this password because once you lose it, it's gone. You have to use a new key store. So that's super important. Or you can use an existing key store and select it here. And then the key is going to be one of the keys inside of this key store. Because we don't have one selected currently, it's using unsigned debug, which doesn't require a password. And essentially that's going to allow you to test it on a device without having to worry about signing it for uploading somewhere else. But when you're ready to upload to the store, whether that's Google or Amazon or wherever you want to publish to, make sure that you select a real key store with a real key inside of it, select the proper key for signing it, provide your password, and then boom, you're done. Unity will handle the rest during build time. There are a few more settings here regarding the build system. Gradle is now the default for Unity 2018, I believe 0.2 and up, though it might be 18.1. And you can provide your own custom Gradle template. Chances are, if you don't know what Gradle is, you probably don't have to modify this, so you don't really have to touch any of this stuff here. And that's that for Android. So all you need to do is go to your build settings here, switch to Android, click build, and then that's it. As long as you set up everything correctly, at the end you're going to get an APK file, and that APK file you can drag and drop onto your device and install it. You can upload it to the Google Play Store, you can upload it to Amazon, Xiaomi, wherever you want to put it, and it's pretty straightforward.